Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, well, it's not really the podcast, it's just a conversation because it's on a Thursday, podcast tomorrow, but we have somebody that we can only talk to on a Thursday, so we have to make the time. We have to, because what this man has to say about the A7FL playoffs, uh, you guys have heard our word. You definitely want to hear this, man. Appreciate you guys for joining us for this conversation. I'm your host, JP.
Hey, yo.
With me, as always, the 6'10 Beast from the Southeast, Mr. Country K.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
And again, it's the All-Pro JAFFOs. We're bringing the highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan. We bring you, once again, A7FL champion, 3-on-1 podcast member, and one of the voices of the A7FL. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Big Rob Fabien. Big Rob!
What's going on, man?
What a hell of a weekend, yeah?
Yeah. It got a little crazy. You guys were watching, right?
Say what?
You were watching, right?
Oh, yeah. No,
Oh yeah,
we saw the
I
whole thing.
definitely. I was just as antsy as you were. I'm glad you went to go find out. I'm gonna be honest.
Some of those games, I mean, it kind of was what it was. We kind of figured the Nightcrawlers were going to dominate.
Of course.
To be honest, I probably should have expected it, but I didn't necessarily expect the Chaos and the Heist to go that deep, like into overtime, for it to be like the way it was.
Right.
And just everything else. But when it came to one game, I feel like this matchup gives every single one of us more anxiety than we could ever want.
Oh, for
Because
sure.
it was the same exact situation, except a different outcome from the championship last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it must have been like 15, 20 minutes until we figured out what actually happened from the referees.
It was bad. It was bad.
Up, everyone else was like, we don't know what the hell is going on. They were packing up the field already. People were changing out of their
People were done. Yeah, people were done. People were definitely done.
I thought Ashanti Worthy and Sterry were already gone.
Ashanti Worthy was with us. He was actually in the locker room, like kept poking his head out to see, he's like, yo, what did they say? And, while we're on camera, we can't respond. And we would just like say it out loud, like, we still don't know what's going on. And then when he would hear that, he'd pop his head back in. He'd be like, I'm out. And he'd pop his head back in.
I mean, but we also saw the Insomniacs. And by the way, I wanted to kind of get to that a little bit later because there's a whole hell of a lot of spicy talk happening out of the West right now. But so far throughout the playoffs, what has been your observation throughout this whole process so far? 2 weeks into the playoffs now.
Honestly, it's been kind of what I expected. Even the BIC loss, if I came into that game knowing that they would be missing as many players as they were missing, like I always say, oh yeah, if Matt Riddick's there, if this guy's there, there's no way BIC loses. And as an analyst, I'm going in there thinking BIC is going fully staffed. I'm not accounting for whatever reason why some of their best players didn't show up. But if those guys don't show up, that's actually the expected result for the U to win. The Chaos and the Heist, the Chaos are making me not like them. Like they're like legit making me not like them. They
are very upset with you for apparently not giving them enough love throughout the whole season.
There's no love. Corey gives them enough love. Corey gives them so much love. I think he needs knee pads. All right. I'm not giving that much love to a first year team who really doesn't know. Like they don't know. And you won't know again, they don't know until they play, until they come out here. So like the Heist get respect from me because I saw them come out here, they faced the gauntlet, The Chaos don't know. Like you haven't close games with the Heist. Their excuse was, a lot of their guys were missing too. But I mean, and again with the Nightcrawlers, that was expected. I think the DRC hate was ridiculous. I think that was like wild. Like
there
people
was hate?
there was a lot of hate. They
Hold on.
Yeah, there was a lot.
This would be something that would be exciting for the league because I was sure as hell excited for it.
It's exciting for fans. It's exciting for me that's not playing, but I understand their energy because if I was playing, I would have been saying FDRC. What's up? Like I don't care who y'all got. Y'all still got to play a 7-on-7. That's the energy you're supposed to have as a player. And being that a lot of the players, they do watch. So that's kind of where that energy was coming from. But I mean, they were a little critical of him. They said he looks like an old man. Said he looks like he's scared to hit. Whole bunch of stuff.
He's got to get. He's never done something like this. I don't think so. I'm sure there's a process, a learning process.
Oh, for sure.
To be had.
There's a curve. There's a slight learning curve to playing A7 because, again, you're very protected when you're in pads. Like you feel safe. You feel like you're out of danger when you're in pads. So without the pads, you still thinking about making that same hit. It just won't be the same way. And you guys have watched this entire season. You've seen big hits. You've seen people get juked out their shoes and socks. Like you've seen it all. Yeah. Like we're not missing anything. So, it's an adjustment period. I'm pretty sure to see you get it. And who did? Ashman and that was expected. As close as it was, I did that too because in the decisions I had, I thought it's exactly what happened. The Watch are going to kind of easy because they're home. Watchmen play. I know it sounds easy. That's probably one of the only team that play better away. Because the pressures when they have to travel and get the ride together and all that more intensity on that front. But when they're home, they're comfortable. Yep. They're relaxed. Oh, it's the Animals. So that's why you get a score 19-20 to 27, where that 27 was scored in the last 3-4 minutes of the game.
I would say was there something on the technical level? Because I remember it being on upcoming the entire time. I didn't get to see too much of that game.
We don't have a good broadcasting relationship with Baltimore, and it's kind of always been like that since they lost. The field that they had was called Dunbar. It was probably the best field. It was one of the best fields. Like to even go there, the atmosphere was great. Once they lost that field, the whole situation with actually like broadcasting from there never really, as you can see, never really worked itself out. So we saw a bit of that game through like it was a bad camera angle. It wasn't too great. It was just more of a film thing.
Got it.
Didn't look like an A7 game, pretty much.
Okay. But I mean, it turning out the way it turned out, I'm sure wasn't too much. I mean, then yeah, obviously if they're making the last 3 minutes scoring those points, that means the Animals are holding it to them for a good amount of time. But with the BIC now out, the defending champions are now out. That seems to have changed the outlook, like the entire league, both the West and the East. Now everybody seems to be licking their chops like, oh, there's a chance now. So, like, I don't think they understand it's not just the BIC that they should be worried about. There's a list of teams that you can name off that are definitely qualified to be able to handle what's happening in the West. But I feel like a lot of that joy and like, oh shit, like it's a little bit misplaced. I don't think they understand.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I had a mic situation. I'm glad you hear me now. You're saying that what is it, like a confidence, or these guys are thinking that
they're misjudging the caliber of the teams that's left. since BIC's out. That's basically what Josh is saying.
Since the defending champions are out, it seems like the confidence level has risen throughout every team that's potentially going to be in the championship now.
Yeah, I could agree
especially
with that.
on the West.
Yeah.
You know, they hear a lot about the BIC, but I don't think they know much about the U. I don't think they know much about the Watchmen. I know they don't know much about Florida.
Yeah, right. It's a lack of the problem with Matt said it the other day, and I can't find any better way to put it. Vegas sped run through all of this. Like they're on a speed run. So they were only concerned with BIC because BIC are the last champions in their mind. They saw Huff, but Huff's no longer on the U, so they didn't care. They don't think the U, they don't understand that there's guys like Moon who, because of how long he's played this game, he knows certain ways to stand and step and move. And there's certain things, especially I won the championship in 2021 with the U. That U team wasn't actually better than the BIC team that we beat. And if you really go back and look, BIC had a former NFL player playing linebacker. They had Ashante Worthy that day. They had Matt Riddick. They had Sterry. They had Courage. They had all these guys healthy, ready to go. We beat those guys because we were savvy vets and we knew where to be and how to be and what to do in certain situations. And we kind of took advantage of the fact that the BIC guys were young, inexperienced, and that. And that's why you got the guys on the West outside of Trey Robinson. Again, I'm going to always say not Trey Robinson. I'm never talking about him.
I was about to say we got some things that he told us, but go ahead.
Yeah, Trey Robinson's the only person that none of this really counts for Trey Robinson. Everybody else who doesn't necessarily know, they'll kind of treat it like, oh, it's regular. Oh, BIC lost. Well, that's it. But they don't understand that them guys on the U have seen years of this. Like, there's not much that is going on in Vegas that we haven't seen, including Trey Robinson. We've seen Trey Robinson. We beat Trey Robinson. It's not, he's one of the best over there. It should kind of tell you where the bar is, but they think it's open, more power to them if that's what they think is going on. The smart guys are not looking at it like, oh man, this is an easy win. Oh, BIC is gone. It's just the mid-tier to lower tier guys are like, oh yeah, it's open now. Anybody could win it. But I don't think it's an anybody could win it situation either.
Yeah. No, I've definitely looked at it that it's still going to be tough. But then I kind of thought about it because, again, we had a conversation with Trey Robinson on the show. We've talked to Lavish, shout out to him with the fractured foot and everything. Hope he gets a speedy recovery and everything for that, like, for sure. But when we talked to Trey, it was like, I mean, I don't know how you can respectfully say other teams are irrelevant, but he was saying your teams are irrelevant. The goal is for the Insomniacs, obviously, to win the whole thing. He did talk about his experience out there in the East. So to kind of play devil's advocate, I thought about it going, and I feel like I answered Trey's question when it was in the live chat. If let's just say the Insomniacs, pull it off. They're the ones representing the West.
They will. They will be. Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of give a little bit of benefit of the doubt, but yeah. Anyways, they make it, and whether it's the U, whether it's the Watchmen, whether it's the Nightcrawlers, they end up winning the game. I feel like that would tell the rest of the league that the West has picked it up a lot quicker than they thought.
Okay.
And I feel like that would, honestly, if the Insomniacs came out and not just won, but like decisively won, the Northeast, the East, everybody 100% put on notice going, oh shit.
You want some
not
cold,
what they thought
hard truth? You want some cold, hard truth? I'm not gonna get in trouble for saying this. This is the all pro JAFFOs. It's not the 3-on-1. I'm not gonna get in trouble.
Go ahead. You can say what you want here.
if the Nightcrawlers, I'm sorry, if the Insomniacs win, and this is me talking to you guys. If the Insomniacs win, no one on the East is gonna bat an eye. No one's gonna care, and I'm gonna explain why. I know it sounds insane, but this is why. For the first time in A7FL history, they are taking the game out of New Jersey and putting it in another state. That actually requires whichever teams make it out to be able to travel and bring all 30 people on their roster across state lines to play. I don't know details, but if you ask certain teams, the funding isn't the greatest. So now when you say if the Insomniacs win convincingly against, let's say, the U, but the U were only able to bring 15 guys, who did they play? If it's the Nightcrawlers and they were only able to bring 15 guys, who did the Insomniacs play? And even if it's the Watchmen, who is a group of all-stars, and they go out there and they only bring 15 guys, who did they play?
I mean, we talked to Joshua Butcher, and we asked him that question, like, if it took you guys having to come down for the would you travel well? Do you think that you would be able to get a good amount of players down there? He had the confidence saying that they would.
That's his job to tell you that they would. That's his job. My job is to kind of keep it a little more real than everybody else is going to keep it. Teams are and were going to have a problem. First things first, teams are going to have a problem bringing people to Ohio. We're not even at Vegas yet. There's already issues about how certain players are getting to Ohio. That's a problem because the Nightcrawlers already know they're going to Ohio. Why is it a problem? It's 2-3 weeks out, but they still don't know how they're getting there.
Wait, the Nightcrawlers are going?
They're already in Ohio. The Nightcrawlers and Chaos are already in Ohio.
Wait, why are the Nightcrawlers in Ohio? I thought they were playing the winner of the Watchmen and the VIC.
They're playing the winner of the Watchmen and the U in Ohio.
Watchmen U, sorry.
Yeah, in Ohio.
That game's happening in Ohio?
Mm-hmm. See? Yeah. That's
why wouldn't it be happening?
Because
at Asbury Park.
That information is above me. I don't know why it was made that way. That's kind of not, that's not my realm of expertise as to why, but the same confusion you have is the same confusion everybody on the East has, because if you were gonna do it in Ohio, why wouldn't you make it a cross game? Have the Chaos play the Florida team and have Jersey team play the Vegas team. They don't do that because if Vegas team really wants to be between the lines here, if the Vegas team loses Ohio, then that means a Vegas team be in Vegas. You get me? It's kind of very advantageous for a Vegas team to get to tip that's Vegas.
But that's just but they're not even in the same. It's not even the same conference to be going to Ohio.
Right. And for whatever reason, whatever deal that they made, that game, those two games are in Ohio. So Nightcrawlers versus potentially Watchmen or potentially the U is in Ohio. Chaos, which Chaos already solidified. Chaos versus I'm saying Insomniacs is in Ohio. So all teams except the Chaos
steal one to make it into the championship.
It would be the same situation. That's not what anyone wants to happen. I'm pretty sure that's not what anyone wants to happen. But the Chaos are home. If teams have trouble with travel, and I don't think Derek Duncan's going to allow any Vegas team to have trouble with travel. Let's just be clear on that. Derek Duncan is a phenomenal, he's a phenomenal leader. He gets things done. So I highly doubt any Vegas team is going to have an issue with travel. The real issue is they all have to go to Ohio. And you had the same look they had when they found out. I mean, it sounds good, it sounds cool, but you're taking two East teams damn near halfway across America to play a game. If neither of those teams travel well, we're not going to get the games that we think we're going to get. We're not going to get the players we think we're going to get. It's the same situation with what just happened to the Chaos and what just happened to BIC. That's not the game we thought we were going to see from either team. And the reason for that is because a bulk of their better players weren't there. BIC had a nail biter with who they had, but a lot of their players were not there. A lot of their receivers were not there. So again, you run that risk. So what happens is if the U win it all, if the U get past the Nightcrawlers, they can get past the Watchmen, then it's time for the U to go to Vegas. And the money's not enough to get 30 people to Vegas. Now you're looking at 12 to 15 players who are not well representing of who the U is. The Insomniacs stomp them out, and it's, oh my God, the East suck. When it's like, you've never faced the East. You don't know what it is. Like, you have no clue what it is. So unfortunately.
So then how does that get solved?
This season, it doesn't. It doesn't get solved this season. It's the ambition that the league has is very admirable, but it's like there's just steps that I just feel like there's always steps that you have to take in order to do certain things. That's why I don't like when Corey or Matt say, hey, let's blow up the league, or hey, take these guys off of this team to make this. Like, you kind of destroy you kind of mess things up when you do that. If you want to blow up the league, like Matt says, I'm very big on there has to be incentives for these guys to play, because their incentive right now is playing with their friends or guys they respect.
Right.
You're taking that away and making them play for a team owner they don't know, and they're not getting incentivized for that. So you're not going to get the games you think you're going to get. Guys are just not going to show up. And then on top of that, the way Corey wants to do it is, okay, the Insomniacs are stacked. He's saying the third string quarterback on the Insomniacs should leave the Insomniacs and go struggle somewhere else. And nobody who wants to win is ever going to do that. Like, no one's going to do that. No one's going to do that. It's just, and that it is as ambitious as that is, and as forward thinking as they think it might be, being a guy who has the, like, I was counting with my son a few days ago. In like 4 or 5 seasons, I lost 6 games, and at least 3 of those games were championship games, which means most of the games I've played were high caliber, intense playoff level. So I'm worn out. If you think I want to get off the couch and go play, no offense to them, but I don't want to play on the Omegas and get 40-pieced every week. I don't want to play anymore. And it's not, oh, you won't try, you won't have the heart. It's not that. It's this shit wears and tears on your body.
Yeah.
Like, it gets to you. Like, you'll stop eventually. Ole Bell, who's one of the best defenders in the league, he even said it. He was like, yo, like, I've been going against 300-pound linemen, very good linemen, for years because he's such a good defender. The best linemen have to block him. I was one of those guys.
Yeah.
And it's true, like, game in and game out, having to deal with the best every time. You're not going to want to go out there and for a half-ass team with guys who never played with each other, got to relearn each other, don't practice. It's a lot. It's a lot to ask for. And I don't think the league is there yet.
Yeah, I think for the growth of it to happen, like with the idea of basically sending players to other teams to kind of sort of make it even type of thing, me personally, I think that would come as a detriment.
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because I feel like for this league to be successful over the top, what it should be, it's gonna come from the homegrown talent.
Right.
It still has that town beef mentality.
Right.
We're representing our city. We're representing where we're from. Like, that's what it is. You're going to have the talent basically grow organically in the areas that decide to have
Right.
the A7FL. That's what's going to make it successful. So, I mean, I can understand what they're talking about, like kind of to make it even, sending other players to other spots or whatever. But like you said, that's a little premature to kind of start thinking free agency
Right.
at this point.
Right.
That could be something maybe, down the line when finances, everything starts
clicking, right? And that makes sense.
There's still a growing process.
Yeah.
Don't get too caught up in, because in this short amount of time that we've been, talking together,
right?
That the whole thing has been going in for it. It's skyrocketed. It's gone up.
For sure.
It's got a notoriety.
Yeah.
But there's still the pieces and the stepping stones that need to be taken. I understand the ambition, and I'm with them.
Yeah, I admire it.
But I feel like having the organic, homegrown style is the best way to go.
It's a lot of, and I agree with you 100%. It's a lot of criticism over what Vegas has done, being that the Insomniacs are the top team, and the Insomniacs are a conglomerate of a bunch of players that were on a bunch of different teams and joined up to virtually make the all-star team that me, Corey, and Matt basically joked about, because we didn't think they would do that, but they did it, and it ended up being exactly what we thought it would be. But to take away from the fact Sick With It is a first-year team with a few older guys, and they're dominating. They're number 2 in the league. Then the number 3 team in the league is the Force, who were pretty good for a long time, and things just haven't fell into place for them. We can't take any of that away, because the problem for them is 1, 2, and 3 are competitive. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 suck, and it's like, well, that's kind of how it's always been. Like, it's when New Jersey had 16 teams, you think we had 16 competitive teams? No.
There's a drop-off at some point.
There's a drop-off. And then when we had 16 teams, there were 4 or 5 teams, usually 4, that sat at the top, and it's like, damn, they're on the schedule. This is a loss, bro. Then you have the next group of 4 teams that would probably beat the other 8, but the problem is they were good enough to challenge the top 4. And then everybody else was fodder. Like, we just walked through people. Like, that's just how it was. But in that environment, like, those games were more intense. Those games were more fun. That's the old town beef days, right? When we finally figured it all out, it's always kind of been 3, 4 teams and three teams in the hunt, kind of like what you just saw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I commend what Vegas did. I think Vegas did a phenomenal job in how they put everything together. I think, again, the Insomniacs are the team we're going to see in the chip. I don't know who's going to be on the other side.
Me and Kay were talking about it yesterday on the podcast. We were trying to make our predictions of, early predictions of who would make the championship. We kind of universally, it was the Insomniacs. Kay didn't want to answer when it came to either Florida, Baltimore, or the U. He said, "You know what? Talk to me next week."
Right. I'm with them. I'm kind of
no.
Go ahead, Kay.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of Florida, to be honest with you. That was my perspective. I didn't see enough of Florida, especially you got DRC on that now. That's a whole different defensive dynamic. So I can't really answer that question without being able to see them fully. Plus,
right.
With the ass whooping that just happened on Sunday, I didn't really watch much of that. So,
I mean, but I can tell you one thing, Kay. There's scenarios, because I don't want to go through who I think is actually going to win the whole thing, or I just can't. I don't have. It's not clear, but the scenarios are kind of clear. You have the scenario where the Watchmen are just much for the being that Watchmen did to you in the season. You are coming as the underdogs, and let's put the scenario the Watchmen game. I think beat the Nightcrawlers. The reason I don't beat the Nightcrawlers is because that game itself, there's a venom in that game. A lot. There's a lot of the Nightcrawlers were read last season. That's the Nightcrawler loss of the Baltimore special.
Yeah.
And they haven't forgot that. They're pissed about it. They didn't go get DRC for fun. It's the same guys that gave the rare breed the fits. It's the same guys. And it's them now versus the Watchmen, who are the rare breed plus. And I'm not saying that the Watchmen can't get it done. I just feel like there's more vitriol and venom on the side of the Nightcrawlers versus the Watchmen. But now, if the U happen to beat the Watchmen, outside of the fact that I think the U is going to have a big problem dealing with Bagway, the U, there's a good chance the U wins that game because the Nightcrawlers' defensive line is, though athletic, and it's kind of what Kay said. I didn't have a good look at what they had because they were playing bums. But from what I did see, the U's offensive line might prove to be too much for the Nightcrawlers' defensive line. It's kind of the same scenario we had with BIC Watchmen in the U. Just replace BIC right now. I think the Nightcrawlers could beat the Watchmen. I think the Watchmen could beat the U, and I think the U can beat the Nightcrawlers. So it's the same scenario. It puts us right back in that same bubble of uncertainty on which of those three teams are going to come out on top. The BIC, okay, I'm asking you guys this question. Did the U score or not?
I felt my boy body turned. He turned when he got hit, so I don't know if that ball crossed the plane. Me personally,
from the angle that we had, it
he did that little running back scoop.
A little turn of the shoulders, and I looked at it, and I also asked Matt the same thing: is having a white football problematic in scenarios like that, or not really?
I thought having a white football would help in scenarios like that, but the ball literally disappeared.
Yeah,
I never saw the ball again.
Yeah, so I was looking at it going, I couldn't really tell where Moon landed. I was like, okay, if he has it up close,
he did not cross.
He didn't score.
If he extended, he scored. But this is, again, remember, I got up 2-3 times to go see what was going on because I couldn't just sit there. The refs said that prior to Moon hitting the ground, he crossed the plane because only a piece of the ball has to touch that line.
Right.
That's it. It's only a piece of it. So from the first angle they showed, it appeared that K-Wack jumped in there and pulled the ball towards the goal line.
Oh, no.
And K-Wack is a guy, if you watch K-Light's highlight film, there's a lot of fumbles, a lot of strips. That's what he does. So in an attempt to strip the ball, I think K-Wack yanked Moon forward. The ball crossed the plane a little bit, but the refs didn't blow a whistle. They didn't call touchdown. It kept going back and forth, and then Moon eventually fell behind the line. But the refs are saying they called touchdown prior to all that scuffle, and that's why BIC had 2 seconds left on the clock.
I thought if it was going to be a touchdown, because again, from the angle that we were seeing, it looked like if he did cross, it happened on the initial push.
Right.
He crossed, and then they kind of pushed him back, and then he was in that position on the way down. So if he did cross the line, it was on the initial push. But even that angle from there was it was hard to
tough.
tell.
It was tough. The only thing you can really gather is when you look at that first angle, you will see K-Wack reach, and K-Wack is very well behind the goal line. So if K-Wack is touching Moon and pulls, naturally that means Moon went over the line. Because when they both now fall, K-Wack never leaves the goal line. He's still behind the goal line. So if he tugged once, crossed the plane, but then pushed back and realized maybe the mistake he was making.
Because he did look up like,
yeah,
oh, shit.
Right.
Like,
and that's what I think the refs called. Hey, it's any given Sunday. The BIC, trust me, they're not losing sleep over this because they know the mistakes that were made. Everybody's concerned about that play because it was the touchdown play that made them lose. But before that, it was a 4th and 11 conversion.
Yeah.
And that's the play we should really be talking about.
Yeah. It was the play that they all talk about. They shouldn't have even been in that situation in the first place.
Which is why it's so much easier to accept. No one likes to lose, especially me.
Right.
But it's much easier to accept defeat, even in that situation when you know, the mistake is clearly right here. We fucked up right here. Yeah. You can see it. 4th and 10, 4th and 11, one dude cold off the bench. There's no way. How did we let that happen? And that's that with them, honestly.
I mean, it's gonna sit with them a whole offseason up until next year. So
right.
it's something that's gonna fester inside the mind because it's, again, this rivalry just builds and builds and builds, and it's one of the cornerstone rivalries that's gonna help the league even more. Just that aura of, like, you talk about the history of the league, how far back it goes.
Yeah,
this
is the one. This is the one for the modern day A7 fan. Like the U and BIC, when we think of rivalry, we go way back. We go Bombers versus SWG. That was the rivalry. Mm-hmm. But for the modern day A7 fan, what the Bombers and SWG was to us, we are to everyone else. Because I played for the BIC, I played for the U. I won a championship with both of those guys. So I'm kind of really enthralled in that rivalry. I hate when they play because I don't know who to cheer for. I have guys I respect and love on both teams. It's never really fun for me to watch them play against each other. But either way, I respect both group of guys. And now, the Watchmen, are here. They're not... I don't know. I have a funny feeling like we're going to have a brand new champion when this is all said and done.
I mean, I kind of get that feeling too, because it's one of those, because I thought about it. Because that's the reason why we asked all three, Joshua Butcher, we asked Lavish, and we asked Trey, when it comes to traveling to where y'all need to go in order to get there, will you be able to do it? Will it be a factor in the whole thing? And each one of them, again, I mean, like you said, they probably have to tell us that.
Yeah, they have to tell. They're warriors. Joshua Butcher's a warrior. He won't tell you. Joshua Butcher's leg can be broken right now, knock on wood, that it's not, and it won't be. And he'll still tell you he's playing Sunday. Joshua Butcher is a warrior. These guys are not going to tell you that. But again, now that I've explained that travel part to you,
it's tough.
It's almost as if Vegas is being given a championship, and that's why if any of those three teams that make it past Ohio cannot travel well, no one is going to care about that Vegas chip. And it's going to be an asterisk, and it's going to be a stain. And in order for Vegas to run it back, in order for Vegas to get respect, they have to run it back.
Then and when this time, the championship being in the East, I feel like it has to go back.
It has to. Which means, and a lot of guys, like, those were the whispers among when I talk to certain teams, certain team owners, and the whispers are, they're trying to get Vegas a chip. You'll see it all over oh, Vegas is getting a free ride to the championship. They're trying to give Vegas a chip, and that's how these guys feel.
Hmm.
And when you step back a little bit, that's kind of what it looks like. Is that what it is? I don't think so, but the optics don't look the greatest.
I don't feel it was something that was necessarily intended like in a malicious sort of way, like
No,
we're gonna figure
yeah,
out a way to,
not at all.
I feel like there was a lot of thought when it came to, again, the ambition, the growth of the league and everything else like
Right.
that. Obviously, there's going to be bumps in the road where you're going to make mistakes. Having both conference games in Ohio is a little odd to
Little
me.
odd, little odd.
So that's neither here nor there. That's a mistake or whatever that can be, remedied come
Right.
next season. But this is one of those situations where it's like when you talk about the growth, it's going to be, yeah, we'll have it in Vegas. Next year, we'll have it in the East. Then we'll go back to Vegas. Then we'll have it.
Right.
Hey, maybe one time we'll go to Ohio. Maybe
Right.
one time we'll go to Florida. To kind of go where the divisions are.
Right.
To kind of give because in a way you're talking about a fair shot,
Right.
especially with the travel.
Hold on, can I say something?
Unless you can find a neutral central location that isn't far from all of these locations, that's what you're going to have to do to at least make it fair in that situation.
Yo, so listen, I'm about to hit this tunnel, so I'm gonna try to get this point out real fast. All right, so look, the reason why they probably went to Ohio because Vegas and Florida has no issue getting football. It's fucking Ohio. Ohio sucks. Ain't shit in Ohio. That's why LeBron left. Ohio fucking trash. I'm sorry. Ain't a goddamn thing out there. Joe Kim Noah said it best. Cleveland, what the fuck is the dude doing in Cleveland? Exactly. They said it best. I'm telling you, that's the reason why they've had the championship out there. Ain't nobody gonna watch that shit if nobody ain't out there. I'm sorry, no disrespect to the teams, Ohio. Y'all boys do y'all thing, but the state itself suck ass. So there you go.
He's been saying this all week, Rob. This is nothing new. This is something
All week I've been
absolutely
defending my
hilarious.
state. They call Florida crazy, but it's a perfectly good state of Ohio that's doing dumb shit. And Bone Thugs and Harmony been singing about it for 20 years.
Oh my God.
Cleveland is. Nah, I ain't going for it.
I'm not gonna lie, country K, bro. There's probably a piece of my heart that feels exactly the same way, and maybe that's why I treat them the way I do. They hate me. They cannot stand me, and I'm okay with it. Like I'm fine with it. They you know what I'm saying, but they don't like me. They don't like me at all.
Before we let you go, Rob,
did you? They gonna hate me with you.
Hey, it is what it is. I'm at least I ain't alone, right? There it is, Country K. Listen,
before we let you go, did you happen to see
man.
Casey's nice little attempt at a 40-yard dash?
Listen, not only did I see it, I screen recorded it. I egged it on 90% of the night. I wasn't doing anything. I was at work. It was a slow night. It wasn't, nothing was going. So I'm watching the game and I am in the chat. Yo, Scott, time the 40. Time the 40, Scott. Scott, I'm trusting you. Time the 40. I'm egging it on because I'm like, there's no way these guys are going to go run a 40. And if they do, it'll be the happiest thing. Just make me happy. Just do that for me, bro. They asked whoever they had to ask. They told them they can leave the booth. They left the booth. I saw Casey for the first time live in person. I didn't think he was a real person. I thought it was a joke. Bro, those little listen. I wasn't the only reason why I went so hard about it. The dude said, listen, Country K, you are a football player. Jay, I know you're a football player.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have played football. You know what speed looks like. If a motherfucker tells you they run a 4.9, they have to look a certain way to run a 4.9. KC's legs don't leave the ground. His knees are attached to his hips. How in the hell can that guy physically run a 4.9? So I pressed the issue. Then once it started getting real, oh, maybe it's a 5 something, maybe. Man, and then oh my God, I wish I remember who said it. Someone said it in the chat twice. They said, y'all worried about KC running this. He's not even going to run it. He's going to fall. I said, bro, I wish. I'm like, I wish he would fall, but he's not going to fall. KC says he runs up flights of stairs and whatever the hell he was talking about. Bro, he gets on that line. And it's like, I heard angel horns. They were like, just watch. I said, oh, watch this. Hashtag watch this. Bro, he takes off and those little Sonic legs go nowhere and he falls face flat. And bro, the laughing in the booth was so bad. I got up off my chair at work and I had to go breathe outside. Bro, it was so bad. So bad. So
I
bad.
just heard everybody. Oh,
Bro, no one even cared about the rest of the race. I didn't care who was running. He fell. That's all we. And just to put the cherry on top of the most delicious ice cream cake you've ever had, he does it again, gets a few more yards, and then falls again. Bro, it was beautiful. You can't write this stuff. You cannot write this stuff, bro. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in A7FL. And I've been here for like 15 years. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Shouts to KC Cox, man. That's entertainment.
as soon as they took off, I was like, oh, I don't. The name of the referee,
Will Franklin.
He took the fuck off. We knew that was pretty.
Yeah.
He, right off the line go. But as soon as I saw Casey start running, I'm like, oh no. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, and then he fell. I'm like, oh no,
bro! There's no way shit. Those little legs have 4.9 in them, bro. There's no way.
The turf.
Palm, bro. Face falling. I know he was spitting turf out for like 30 seconds after he fell, both times. Like, there's no way, bro. There's no way. And again, Jay, I would have left it alone if he did not say he ran a 4.9.
Yeah,
I've never run a 4.9, bro. Come on now. Peak athleticism. Come on, man.
Peak athleticism, I was a 4.68, and he said 4.9. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
4.9, bro. Peak athleticism, bro. I was 5'1", 5'2". As a lineman, this motherfucker's telling me he ran faster than me. I'm 6'3", bro. What do you think I was doing? I used to be smaller. What the hell do you think I was doing? Nah, this kid's crazy. That motherfucker's crazy.
No, I mean, we were hearing some other things with him, like it might be fake smoke out there in the east and shit. I was like,
fake smoke.
Can't you know what he's talking about right now? And then he face planted. I was like, oh, yeah. The karma and the football gods came and smited his ass.
Yeah, you don't do that. A7 is a direct line to the football gods. They like what we're doing, all right? They love what we're doing. So when you say some blasphemy like that, the football gods are always watching. And you guys see it week in and week out what the football gods do. They kind of make teams pay for the shit that they like. K-Wack, if you go on the A7 page, K-Wack was telling Ski Johnson of the U, oh, we're gonna blow you guys out, we're gonna destroy. Bro, you don't talk like that, bro. This is not. Let's respect the game so it can respect us. I treat the game like a living, breathing thing. Yep. I know if I do the right thing here, and here, bro, it's gonna come back. Yep. And like I don't know if you've seen that too. That what happened on Sunday is karma for what happened in 2016. Might not be well versed, but I can give you a quick history lesson. So,
if you can, yes.
Okay,
please.
Of course. In 2016, that's the year me and the BIC won that championship. The week before the championship, I did not play. BIC went against the U that day. Okay. I just moved out. I was working over at the shore. I had to get the money. I was paying rent. I didn't, it's a lot going on at the time. So I'm like, yeah, I can't make it to this game. I have to go to work. BIC wins the game on a controversial play to Moon, of all people, where Huff throws the pass in the back of the end zone and Moon catches it, but they said he doesn't maintain possession, and they said it was no touchdown. BIC wins the game, and I will send you the video. I will send you the video.
Yes.
And they're like, "Oh, is he in? Is he in? Is he in?" Everybody's saying no. Ant Live, who they used to call him the Fix, he goes to the refs and he's like, "He's not in. Look at this angle." The refs are like, "Well, he's not in. That's it." And BIC win that game, then go on to win the chip. The U never forget. I went to the U in 2020. In 2019, they still hated me because of the 2016 game. 2020, they hated me. 2021, they hated me. They never let me forget what happened in 2016. What happened in 2023 with the
It was a
same
catch.
man, Harwin Stone. It was a catch. Listen, what happened in 2016, 2023 with the same player against the same team with the same question, did he score? This time the ref said he scored. That's direct karma if I've ever seen it. And the reason why I was unaffected is because I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with that shit. I had nothing to do with that.
I was thinking like with again for what happened in the championship last year of the play of how close it was that
that
he
was so
didn't
close.
score. But now that I've got that history lesson, holy shit, this dates back.
Oh yeah, it dates back. It dates back. The rivalry for the U and BIC. I feel like it started in 2014. 2014. And the reason why it started that year is that's the first year BIC went to the championship. Guess who they faced that year? The U. And guess what the U did that year? Beat that ass. And we lost to the U our first championship ever. And since then, it's been war every game since that 2014 because in the regular season we didn't see each other. We didn't see each other. They were on the other side because we had way more teams in New Jersey and PA and Baltimore. We had way more teams, so we didn't see each other. But BIC was on like a hero arc where we lost 2 regular season games, then had to play those same 2 losses in the playoffs to win to make it to the championship. We beat the 2 teams that beat us, but we never saw the U. And we just kind of weren't prepared for the intensity that they brought. Regular season the next year, we beat the dog shit out of them. And I'm telling you, it's been that way since 2014. Since 2014. So,
I mean, shit, a hell of a. I'm glad I get to know more of the history lesson because the more I hear about the league, the more I like fall in love with the whole thing, man.
it's
It's
not going
awesome.
nowhere.
I'm glad it's gotten to where it's gotten to, and I'm glad you guys have allowed us to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form. Big Rob, appreciate you as always, my friend. You know the door is always open. We're gonna be with you down there at the championship game. So I don't know, maybe crossover podcast. I don't know, something.
For sure.
I've been hitting it, Matt. To kind of see where we can go with that. But
we'll bump him a little bit. Come
give
on,
him a little nudge. But
come on, Maddie.
ladies and gentlemen of the JAFFO Army, give it up, Big Rob Fabien. We appreciate you, Rob.
Thank you,
Have a good one, man.
Thank you for having me, brothers.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you,
Sir.
All right. And then, ladies and gentlemen, again, you guys already know Big Rob, one of the better personalities and everything of the league, always keeps it real, always keeps it pretty unbiased. He tells it like it is. That's why we love having him on the show, because we do the same thing. So that was our JAFFO conversation on another Thursday evening. I would call it. It's still daylight outside here at 7:00 at fucking night, but is evening time. Again, appreciate Big Rob for coming on and giving us some time talking about what's happened these last few weeks in the playoffs. And we look forward to seeing him and the crew and everybody out there for the A7FL Championship, July 23rd. Get your tickets now. They still have the promo code that's out there. It's A7FL early. A7FL early for 20% off of your tickets. The weekend tickets are still there. They're still, super cheap. All the events and everything like that, esports events, flag football championship. There's going to be an indoor league game that weekend. It's going to be an absolutely jam-packed weekend for everybody and the family to enjoy. So get out there. Bullhead, Arizona, the weekend, July 21st. through the 23rd, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Be there, be square, be a part of history. Get down to the A7FL Championship this July. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us on this Thursday, talking to Big Rob. We will see you guys again tomorrow for the regular scheduled podcast. Appreciate it. All pro JAFFOs for myself, JP, for the 610 Beast from the Southeast, Mr. Country Cake. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Deuces.